Several of our elected officials are here today, and I have the honor of introducing them to you. The first two I'm going to ask to come up together are State Assembly Member Ben Hueso, representing the 79th District, and State Assembly Member Tony Atkins, representing the 76th District. Assembly Member Ben Hueso was on the City Council in 2007, and as a member of the Housing Authority, he voted to approve this landmark agreement. Ben was also the San Diego City Council President in 2009, when the San Diego Housing Commission's finance plan for our developments for new affordable housing was approved by Council. He was also the driving force behind the property behind us here, the Mercado del Barrio development and these Estrella del Mercado apartments. I hope I didn't mangle that too much, man, which is the backdrop for today's event. Also, Assembly Member Tony Atkins is here with us. Assembly Member Atkins has made affordable housing a hallmark of her public service career. Tony led the charge in 2002 to enact the nation's first housing state of emergency declaration in San Diego, while serving as a member of the San Diego Housing Council, San Diego City Council. In that role, she also voted to approve the landmark agreement with HUD and has continued her advocacy for affordable housing in the General Assembly. I give you now Ben Hueso and Tony Atkins.
Thank you so much, Rick. It's a great day to see all of our friends here gathered again to celebrate. We don't get to celebrate enough, and this is a good day to celebrate not one but two things. One, I want to thank Housing and Urban Development for helping us, the City of San Diego, in two ways. One, this project behind us, I want to congratulate Ben and certainly David Alvarez. This is their district. And this project and this community has looked to this project for actually decades. And so I want to thank you for working with us over the decades to make sure that we gave the community what they deserved, what they wanted, and what they needed. So it's a good day for this project. So I want to congratulate my colleagues for that. I also want to, in looking at this 5-year anniversary, you know, it took a lot of partners. I want to thank HUD for that too, because we were on the cutting edge. Thank you, Betsy Morris, former director of the Housing Commission, for telling the council that we really needed to look for a way to fiscally and responsibly deal with our assets in the shrinking dollars at the federal government in public housing. And so doing that application was really critical. But I also want to acknowledge my colleagues on the City Council. Ben and I were on that council. Todd Gloria was on the Housing Commission. Jennifer Adams Brooks. We then did the next thing. We actually brought in Rick Gentry to implement this process, and implement it he has done with his staff at the Housing Commission. And I want to thank all of the staff, and Debbie Ruane in particular in your department. But Rick, we thank you for the vision. We thank you for doing that, and it's great to be part of this today. And with that, I again want to say congratulations to my colleague Ben Hueso. I know this is a good day for you. Congratulations. I'll let you. You want to do that?
Yeah, I will, but together maybe you can help me.
Until you're ready.
We wanted to present a proclamation on behalf of Tony Atkins, Senator Juan Vargas, and myself from the state legislature, recognizing the very monumental agreement that was reached 5 years ago between the Housing Commission and HUD that allowed many projects like this to be constructed. I also want to thank Rick Gentry to you know, for living up to his word. When that agreement was reached, shortly after, the Housing Commission director decided to take a different career path, and we were left trying to find somebody to fill her shoes that would not only guide the Housing Commission but also implement this huge agreement with HUD. And Rick was one of the only applicants that mentioned that the reason he was coming to San Diego because he was so excited about this agreement, being visionary, being out of the box thinking about putting together a framework to allow the Housing Commission to control their own destiny in creating housing and also leveraging their funds in a new and creative way that up until then had only been used by the private sector. So a project like this, for example, that was, by the way, that could not have been, that this project would have never happened without Rick Gentry. Let's make that very clear, that when we were working out the financing without Rick Gentry coming in, and he did something that I have so much respect for him for coming forward initially and opposing the agreement. It was a very hard thing for him to do because he saw a better way to finance a project, and we chose his recommendation. I remember this project went through so many up and downs. Mr. Riley is in the audience. There he is. Hello. He's the Einstein of affordable housing for HUD. And I don't say that because of the hairdo. I just say that because he's, I remember when we decided to change courses and end the agreement with the former developer, Mr. Riley came up to me and said, "You're making a big mistake." Well, here we are, Mr. Riley. And he wasn't saying that in terms of, being at odds with the project. He was saying that because he had a very good point. I mean, up until then, the city was in violation with its agreement with the federal government. So that all made this project a lot more challenging, that he had the difficult task to convince Washington that we needed to move forward with this project. And thanks to him, Washington stayed on board. Thanks to Rick Gentry, we came up with the right financing plan. And thanks to this 5-year agreement, we now have equity in this project. Before the doors are even open, we have equity that we can use to acquire more projects. And we can do it through the Housing Commission buying the projects directly, or by leveraging our dollars to enter into public-private partnerships. This project, for example, was done through a public-private partnership. And in 15 years, the Housing Commission has the first right to come in and purchase this property if they so choose. This is just a wonderful business plan that will only result in creating higher quality and more affordable housing for the people in our community that need it the most. And that's the whole purpose of doing this. So, I would have been remiss to come here not to, recognize this important agreement, and just to remind people, it was a highly controversial decision then, but you can see that what it takes in terms of a little bit of initiative to create high quality projects. I want to thank everyone on the Housing Commission. I want to thank the council members, my good friends, Todd Gloria, David Alvarez. Thank you very much. I know you're going to do a good job making sure these units are filled by the neediest people. But thank you very much. Here's our resolution. We're going to present it to Mr. Gramling. Sure. Thank you.
Ben and Tony, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here with us, and we appreciate your kind words as well. The strong leadership on the council has continued, and I've got two other folks I'm going to introduce you to together here, and they're going to come up and make some remarks as well. One is David Alvarez. David represents this community, Barrio Logan, and he was elected to the City Council in 2010, and is a member of the City Council's Land Use and Housing Committee. And as such, keeps very close watch over what the Housing Commission does. And as a member of the Housing Authority and the Land Use and Housing Committee, is very active and supportive in affordable housing measures. Also, Todd Gloria. also is a current city councilman. But in 2007, when HUD approved this landmark agreement, Todd actually sat on the board of the Housing Commission. He then graduated from the commission to the city council in 2008. Todd voted to approve the landmark agreement with HUD back in '07, and 2 years later he was a new San Diego City Council member when he voted to approve the finance plan. So I give you today David Alvarez and Todd Gloria.
Good morning. I just want to share a few words with you, and it's really about a political convention earlier in the summer. I heard someone talking about a relay and how what we do in life is really about a relay. It's not a marathon, and it's someone passing it on to the others. And really, Todd, I think, and I wouldn't be here without former council members Atkins and former council member Hueso. Their leadership to make sure that this program continued, and in particular Ben and Todd and their leadership in hiring someone of the caliber of Rick Gentry to make sure that this program was successful. I really speaks of what this means and why I think I do what I do, and it's really to continue some of the good work done by other members in the council in the past, and hopefully we can continue, as Assemblymember Hueso said, to follow in their footsteps and make sure that we do the good work and make sure that we keep up with the good work that they were able to do. So one personal story of what this program does: I know 4 families at least that I've met so far that have been able to move into housing here. And an even more personal story, a brother of mine who's actually going to be buying his first home probably in the next 10-15 days thanks to the work of the Housing Commission. I mean, those are the programs that are benefiting from this deal. It's not just the vouchers and the celebration of the 5 years, but everything else that comes with it, everything else that's been able to be achieved, everything else, all the other people who have been able to be helped because of that agreement. So I'm pleased to be here and celebrate with everybody here. And I'll pass it on to my colleague, Councilmember Gloria.